Hey there, comic fans. My name is Walt. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you know me already. If not, I'm reviewing comics, and tonight I will review Reckless by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, superstars of independent comics, and they have a new one out. It's a original graphic novel, but it's also the first in a series, and we'll find out if it's as good as their best works. Okay, so let's start with the most mundane things. Well, maybe not that mundane. They are trying to recreate the European graphic novel bande dessinée kind of vibe with a slightly undersized hardcover for that matter. But yeah, it's a first in hardcover released work. It's not serialized before. This is a very new thing for them. I've read a few interviews. They came up with a format during the pandemic. Single issues didn't get distribution. They had something they wanted to start next with a new series in single issues, and yeah, it just didn't go forward. And then they were thinking up this new hardcover format, and I totally get it. Their previous two hardcovers, Pulp and My Heroes Will Always Be Junkies, were both hits, especially Pulp. I haven't read Pulp yet. The other one I did. I really liked it. I think there's also some review of that one on my channel. Well, whatever. This is a $25 book, so of course expectations are somehow high because you do expect to get a lot out of it for $25. And I have to say, they invested a lot of thought into the build of the whole book. So yes, the binding is a bit tight, but it's never in a way that, you know, it troubles your experience when reading it. Nothing gets lost in the gutter. It's working quite fine, and the pages are very, very thick. It's like the highest quality, the thickest paper I'm aware of in American graphic novels. The colors look nice and bright, so the printing is really, really good, and the whole build of the book is worth its $25 admission price. That's for sure. So now let's get into the content. First up, the cover is really cool and catchy. Reminds you of some action movie or something like that from the late 70s, early 80s. And this is exactly also when the story is happening. I think it's mid 70s or late 70s. And it's an LA noir or hard-boiled. I'm never quite sure about it because I don't normally read those kind of stories in novel format. Only basically Brubaker has made me into a noir fan. Well, of course, I like the films, but the literature, the basis for it, I'm not very familiar with it. So what is it about? We have no, that's the antagonist. We have the protagonist. So they start with a flash forward and then unravel the story. The protagonist is a guy who almost a little bit of a ironic cliche, an investigator who runs his operation out of a movie theater. This one here, El Ricardo, out of business. You know, everything is like very detached, very ironic, very close to what you would expect from an protagonist in a noir or in a hard-boiled novel. He is detached from his own emotions. He has a murky past. He worked for the FBI. He was an undercover agent of sorts, but he can't remember the most crucial night of his undercover career. He can't remember properly. I won't spoil for you anything here because it's a very important plot point later on. Let me just say that if you add it up, this practical slash cynical guy on the outside, but with a longing on the inside. He wants to have his feelings back. He's out of touch with his emotions, in a way traumatized. Basically, he's a PTSD victim. This is how I read him. And then he also introduces the fact that he doesn't remember everything correctly. So you have like this Memento kind of a rebuild of what happened in my past. Who am I? A longing for identity, time jumps, memory holes, money problems, kind of a collection of tropes, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it didn't struck me as a very original hero in the beginning. I couldn't say that it struck me very original towards the end. The story is very original. It's very well built and beautifully drawn by Sean Phillips and colored by his son, whose surname is also Phillips, but I forgot his first name, and he's not on the cover, which is a bit weird for this generation of artists. Jacob Phillips, yes, right. Who honor the colorist normally. I have to say, I'm still not completely over the fact that Elizabeth Breitweiser used to be the third kind of creator in this now duo. For me, it was a trio always, and it's not bad what Sean Phillips' son is doing here, but you can see from some of the panels there is sometimes a flatness to the whole image, which I didn't quite overcome yet. I don't dislike it. I think the tonality, the mood it's creating is spot on. It's really nice. And you see like every chapter has its own tonality, but something is lacking. And you could say that about the character too, maybe even about the story in a way. But maybe it's all about expectations. So if you expect something highly original and highly inventive out of this here, you'll be a little bit disappointed. If you just want to be entertained and want to read a noir story about a guy who gets hired by a woman who was very important in his past to solve a mystery of her present, well, then you're in a noir and you just go with it, and it's really entertaining and fine. There is a little bit of a drag in the middle of the story. You're not super familiar with the main character yet, so you don't root for him unconditionally, and you're also not super curious about him. So everything relies on the case and how well built the whole mystery is. And I was a little bit let down towards the middle, but then it picked up very fast towards the end, and it became very entertaining and unexpected. So this is what Ed Brubaker is known for. He is a great plotter. The ending was very fulfilling and surprising. I think this is probably their most mainstream work, or their work with the most mainstream appeal. It's not very special or maybe not even original, but it's also not cliche and stupid. It's just well done crafts work, and that's fine. It's fine with me, at least. So for me, the biggest quality in the collaboration is how natural and authentic everything feels. The characters feel real, even if they're a bit cliche in their setup. They still feel like relatable, real people. The dialogue is just fantastic. It's very natural, and that it's very effective on one hand. This is what you have to do in comics. You don't have a lot of space, so you have to be effective with your words and with your storytelling, but not super direct. So there's always one deviation before it comes to the point, and this makes it feel well, natural. Yeah, it's a trick that Brubaker uses, and he has become so versed at it that you don't spot it anymore. And yeah, I'm a bit envious of that, I have to say. It's incredible how precise everything is. Every sentence is like, it's put there and it stays there and it's right, you know. That's great. That's a great quality. Same you could say about Sean Phillips' art, which here I maybe like the most in a very long time, because it's a bit more, you know, less controlled. It's a bit more loose. It's a bit less relying on accuracy and photo reference and everything. And the looseness of it makes it more alive. Yeah, also dynamic in parts. So I really enjoyed the art in this one. Well, I don't want to spoil the story for you. I think I've said enough, basically. It's a big, not conspiracy, but it's not a simple case. There are a lot of actors doing their things, and Brubaker keeps you guessing till the end. And yeah, it's a fun book. It's a very fun book. The only thing that I wish that we'll get more of in the next installation is, well, maybe a little bit more depth for the character, for the main character. I totally understand this is the first foray into this world, but I really, coming off Kill or Be Killed or The Fade Out, which are, in my view, their masterworks, and they excelled at this at character building for me first. This year didn't feel as successful at that as their former works. So I really hope with the next graphic novels that they, elevate this pulp pastiche hero into something of their own. And there's that. Would I recommend it to you? If you're into crime in general, if you like Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, yes, for sure. It's a very entertaining read. Yeah, it's fun to read. It's fun to get into this world of theirs. It looks really nice, but it's not the prime work. I wouldn't recommend this as a first entry to what they're doing. I think Criminal, I think Fade Out, Kill or Be Killed are superior to this, but this might be their most accessible work yet. So you decide if you want to give it a shot. Thank you for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. If you've read it and you have your own opinion, let me know in the comments. I will probably do another video in the next days with single issue reviews. If not, Merry Christmas to you all, and see you soon. Bye bye.